Well, hello, everyone. Woo, just fixing up my hair. All right. All right. So, hello, everyone. Uh, give me. I'm usually a hot mess when I do these things. All right. All right. Awesome. All right. All right. I'm usually a hot mess when I do these shows. All right. You guys. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. If you are new to the show or if you are returning to the show, let me tell you what this show is about. So, this is the show where we like to have real open dialogue about a lot of important things as we are sponsored by, I don't know if a sponsor is the right word, but as Hot Topics is a part of my tutoring company, I tend to focus on certain topics within, the scope of the company. So I tend to focus on topics in education, mental health, employment, self care, entrepreneurship, right? So I tend to focus on those topics. And today is no different. I am looking forward to this episode. And I know that I say that in every single episode, but I am looking forward to this episode because not only do I have a brand new guest to the show, but he is going to be part of a repeat discussion. So I'm actually bringing back a topic. I love it when I have repeat topics, and I love it when they're young because it's not a lot of young people I get to grab. So without further ado, so the topic I am bringing back is young entrepreneurship part 5. So I am excited about this topic because this is the 5th installment of this sub-series, Young Entrepreneurship. And I define young entrepreneurship as anyone with any type of side hustle or small business under the age of 25. And the fact that I'm doing this for the 5th time, it is such an honor and it is such a blessing. So I am grateful for my guest. I'm grateful for having another young entrepreneur on my show. And let me tell you, these young kids, as I've said in the past 4 installments, they start in them businesses, they doing them side hustles, they're getting out there, they're making that money, and they are learning business skills, and they are learning these skills early. So it's not just, it's more than just making money, right? You have to engage an audience. You have to account for that money. You have to, sorry, I'm itchy. You have to, you have to be able to track it. You have to be able to pay taxes, um, customer engagement. You have to find customers, right? So all of these are life skills and business skills. And the fact that they're doing it so young, I think it is awesome. And they are going to be well rounded adults. So I am looking forward to this conversation. And it's nice to be able to talk to another young person about entrepreneurship. And let me tell you who this young person is. So, this young person, his name is Jaetel Gomez. And let me tell you, Jaetel is an 18-year-old inspiring entrepreneur who's passionate about real estate, financial literacy, personal development, and personal branding. So let me go ahead and bring him to the forefront.
Hey, Gabrielle.
Hi, Jaetel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on and thank you for being an aspiring entrepreneur. Thank you for, your being a hustler, right? We
Of
need a lot
course.
more young people, a lot more young hustlers out there.
Yeah, when we wrote that intro, I was 18. I just turned 19, so now I'm 19.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Clap, 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 clap. So happy birthday to you. So you are a 19-year-old aspiring entrepreneur.
Right, right, right. And also, before I was an aspiring entrepreneur, I'd like to consider myself an entrepreneur now. Like,
You are an official entrepreneur. All right,
yes.
so let's dive right into it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I just got my real estate license about I think it was about 2 months ago, and I've been doing that. It's been doing good. I've been just learning everything that I can. Um, I really got into that because of my father. He taught me about financial literacy at a young age. I remember he was picking me up from baseball practice, and we wouldn't be talking about baseball. We'd just be talking about finances. We'd be talking about how to build credit, stock market, real estate, and he really influenced me a lot in that space. And he's probably most likely the reason why I'm doing what I do now.
Awesome, awesome. So let's pick at that a little bit. So you're in real estate right now, or you're studying it?
Right. Yeah, I just got my real estate license, so I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of Massachusetts.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap.
Thank you.
So what made you pursue real estate?
Honestly, I know you can make a lot of money in real estate, but I genuinely like it. I got into the field. I became a real estate agent because I wanted to surround myself with people who are interested in real estate, investors and other like people in the industry, because I know that ultimately my end goal is to, well, not my end goal, but my goal is to be invested into real estate, and I want to have multiple properties like generating cash flow every month.
So you got into it for the money.
uh I wouldn't say that necessarily, but I mean, money's important, but you know it not just the money.
So let's why real estate specifically? Why not a lemonade stand,
Right.
or why
Well,
not a YouTube influencer? Why specifically real estate?
okay, so that's funny you said that, because I actually had a lemonade stand when I was younger, and I had YouTube channels, and I actually have a YouTube channel now, and I post constantly on my YouTube channel. So it's not just real estate. That's just kind of one thing that I'm doing. I'm also, I guess I don't like the word influencer, but I do post on social media because I know it's important to build your brand. Um, and YouTube, you can make a lot of money from YouTube also. So I'm constantly posting on YouTube. I just started. I think when we first talked, you asked me how many subscribers I had, and I had like 30 subscribers. This was like about a month ago, and now I'm at 300 subscribers. So yeah,
Whoa!
so I've been
Another clap, 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 clap. Good
thank
for
you.
you.
Yeah, so I've been going hard on YouTube, and real estate is just kind of a thing that I do on the side, but I really do enjoy it. I really do.
So, do you use your channel to boost yourself, to boost your real estate profile? If I'm saying that right.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I also post like other like motivational clips and stuff on there. Um, but yeah, I mean, it probably does help a little bit, And I post on TikTok, Instagram. It's all for the real estate and my brand.
So, what's so important about getting into real estate now as opposed to waiting until you're 30 or 40?
Well, for me, I'm not. I'm always the type of person where like I don't like to just chill out, especially if I feel like I'm not in a position where I could do that. So I think it's important to start young, because that way, I have all these properties in my early 20s, and then by the time I'm 30, I have all these properties and I'm just generating money, and I really don't have much to, like, I don't have to do I don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have a family and be there with my kids and see them grow up and do all these things, travel, do all these things because when I was young, I was able to acquire multiple properties and I don't have to work a job my whole life.
Oh, okay. So you're starting early. You're planting those seeds early.
Right.
Your your goal with real estate is to own multiple properties, and I'm assuming you want to rent out those properties.
Correct. Yeah.
So own multiple properties, rent them out, and then just let the money roll in, collect on that, and then you're establishing the wealth now, like the
Right.
generational
Yeah.
wealth. So once you achieve that, you don't have to work for anyone ever again.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
And at the same time, you're also providing homes for people.
Right. Yep.
So is there certain neighborhoods you want to have properties in, or tell me more about where you want to have properties?
Yeah, I was honestly, I really want to invest into like inner cities, because that's where I grew up, and a lot of the landlords, they what in the real estate industry they call them slumlords. They just like they're people who buy properties in the inner cities and they don't take care of their properties and they just let like you see the grass is like super high and just like a bunch of like they just don't take care of their properties and I want to be the person to go into these inner cities because I'm from the inner cities and to purchase these properties and take care of them and take care of my tenants and make sure everybody you know is living in a good house and they're proud of where they live, you know what I'm saying?
So tell me more about the inner city.
um and what aspect?
So what is it about the inner cities that I mean, I know you say you're from there, but what is it about the inner cities that you want to have properties there as opposed to like suburbia?
Well, in inner cities there's more like multifamily houses and that's kind of the niche that I want to stick with when investing into real estate. I want like triple deckers, you know what I'm saying? Like multifamily homes. So in inner cities there's more multifamily houses. So and also just like I know what it's like growing up in these places and it's not easy. Um a majority of the people in these inner cities are minorities and I feel like it's kind of like my calling or my duty to like because I came out from there and I feel as if it's my right to take care of these types of people.
Are you okay talking about your life, your upbringing in the inner cities?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, so it's funny because my mom, she wanted us to stay in. So there's it's kind of hard to explain without saying the specific towns, but there's so we live in a town that's a little like more suburban and nicer, and then a town right over it's more inner city like. And so initially we were living in the suburban town and like right in the border actually. um and um she was a single mom and she really couldn't afford rent anymore. It got to a point, and we had to move in with my uncle, her brother, and he lived in the inner city. But what my mom did was she kept us in the same school system, from the suburban school system because she knew that in those inner cities the school systems aren't as good, and she wanted to keep us with the same kids that we grew up with throughout our whole lives and to graduate with them. So um I just remember having to share a room with my cousin. um in this like crummy apartment with like there was like like holes in the doors, holes in the walls. The toilet like hardly worked. Like I just I remember that, and like me being older, I don't want that for other kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and it's you. You know, you mentioned a few factors. So you mentioned that it sounds like uh, you and your mom, you lived in more suburbia, and then something happens financially where you ended up in the inner city. But your mom sounded. It sounds like your mom was committed to keeping things the same for you and and your family.
Right.
So, because I remember when, well, I kind of went the opposite. Well, because I used to live in an apartment, my family, and then we moved to a bigger house. But and so when we had to move, we had to change schools.
Mm,
But your mom went the extra step and say, I'm gonna keep you in the same school.
right. Yeah.
So I imagine that was harder for her because now you're farther away.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
So how did that impact? How did that impact your family being farther away?
Um. Honestly, it was only for a few years, and then we ended up moving back. My mom got married, and we moved back to suburban towns, and it's been good ever since. But yeah, it's just the upbringing, like with a single mom, um, I think that kind of breeds entrepreneurs in a way, because I even growing up, I always was trying to find a way to make money, always. Um, I like you mentioned earlier, the lemonade stands. I had a lemonade stand. Um, I remember I was making graphic T-shirts. I was ironing prints onto T-shirts and selling those. Um, man, I in uh in my town we have a place called BJ's. It's like a wholesale store.
Oh, we have
It's
that
kind
here
of like
too
a
in New York. It's a
yeah,
really
like a
big store,
Costco.
BJ's. Yeah,
Yeah, like a
and
Costco kind of. And I would buy these big boxes of like Skittles. I'll get like candy bars, and this was in high school, and I would go with like a one of those string bags, and I have all the candy in that bag, and I'll just sell it in school. I was going around in the hall selling the candy to the kids. And I remember I like posted on Snapchat the day before, like, oh, I got this and this, and with the prices, and like kids would buy it, and I actually made enough money to buy my first car doing that. So
what?
yeah, I made a
Wow,
lot of money
talk
doing
about
that.
ultimate hustler. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's been a thing since forever.
Yeah, yeah. And and another thing too that you mentioned is the multi-generational family. So what tends to happen in inner cities is it's multiple families in the same apartment, right? So you
Hmm.
have multiple families, multiple generations. What was that like for you?
Honestly, it was different because a lot of my family members are older than me. Like in that household, a lot of them are older than me, and my mom was always working. She worked two jobs, so I kind of had to grow up fast. Um, I was
Mhm.
making my own dinner, but it's funny because like most kids, my like back then, like I'm talking about like when I was 12, 11, 10 years old, they would be watching like Disney Channel and you know Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, but I was always on like
Mhm.
HGTV and like the Food Network channel, or like History Channel. Like that was kind of like what I watched when I was a kid. So I feel like I've always been a little bit like a step ahead than most kids. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think that that kind of has to do with the way I was brought up and having to grow up early.
Mm. So you say you had to grow up early. So was it because what grow up early? What? Well, let me ask you what that means. When you say grow up early, what does that mean?
Um, I think just maturing faster than most kids. Uh, I like to say that like I'm 19 going on 30 because just the way my mind works and just everything with like my finances and just the way I see the world, I feel as if like I'm a lot older than I am.
And certain, would you say that your life experience shaped that for you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So so having to grow up early and having all these unexpected changes in your life, you know it it forced you to be, it forced you to mature faster, and it's sort of like you're in an adult in a child's body. Is that
E-
what I'm getting?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Mm, all right. So now, so I guess you remember that part of your life, and so that remember your living okay.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
back. My
Yeah,
screen
I'm
went out.
sorry.
Um, yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. So now you want to give back, right? So you remembered your living situation, and so now you're in a place where you can give back.
Right, right.
All right. So let's talk about where you are now. So you have your real estate license.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
So I just signed with a brokerage in downtown Boston. I'm not sure where are you from, Gabriella?
New York. I'm in New York.
Oh, New York. Okay, yeah. So I just signed with a brokerage in downtown Boston, Popular Properties. Right now, I'm just like training. I just started like a month ago, so I'm just learning as much as I can, absorbing as much as I can. Um, Additionally, I'm working on my YouTube channel. I've been posting constantly on YouTube, um, and yeah. Eventually, I want to get into like a e-commerce um, e-commerce store. That's the plan later on. But right now it's just learning. I'm just learning and doing my real estate, you know, and yeah.
So you're in training right now. So what does that training entail?
Yeah, training sort of. It's just trying to it's just like showing us how to use the software. They're showing us, different like ways to generate leads from social media. Um and and then what to do once you get those leads, how to what papers do you need to file and how to get someone pre-approved for a loan and all these other types of things. But that's just one thing that I'm doing. But I'm also looking to purchase my first home within this next year. Um, so I hope I can do that. But yeah,
Oh, so you already have goals, right? So you already have goals, right? So you're already a real estate agent, right? You want to build properties in the inner cities. You want to get your first property within the first year. So you already have goals.
right, right, right. Well, my plan is for my first property to live in it, and then, or I want to buy a multifamily house and then live in one of the units and then rent out the other two. And then that way, essentially, the rent income uh is I'm sorry, the rent income is paying for the mortgage, so I'm essentially living there rent free and mortgage free.
So now, so now you have to factor that in, right? So one, you have to get a mortgage, and then you have to get a property, or do you get the property first before the mortgage?
You get a loan, and then you look for properties, and then yeah.
Right? And then you have to rent it out. So then it sounds like you're gonna charge a rate that will have to cover all that would have to cover yourself as well as the two residents living there.
Right, in a way, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. It's called house hacking.
Oh, I never heard of that. What is that?
Yeah, it's house hacking is when you buy a house. It doesn't have to be a multifamily house. You can buy a single family house and still house hack it, but it's just basically like you get a house and then you rent out either the rooms or the floors in the house, and then the rent income, covers your mortgage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So so how long will you plan on having that one house before you get a second house?
That's a good question. I'm not really too sure exactly how long. I'm looking probably about a year to 2 years. It really just depends on, how fast I can find another house and building the capital in order to fund that house. Because the first house you buy, uh, well, not for everybody, but the loan that I'm qualified for is called the FHA loan, and it's for first time home buyers, and it's basically a 3.5% down payment. But anything after that is 20% for a down payment. So it might take a little bit longer to get my second house because I have to get the capital.
Right. So you have to get the capital for the first house, and then you have to pay back that capital before you take out more capital for the second house.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so your target, right? So just so I'm clear, so your target is the multi-generational family. So when you get that first house, so your ideal tenants are going to be the multi-generational family.
Uh, Not necessarily. From the not for the first one. It really just depends on the location, and I don't. I'm not gonna discriminate who my tenants are. It's just depending on if they're good people or not. Um, I, I don't think it really matters what their ethnicity is. I'll just uh, you know,
Mhm.
they're gonna be living there. So
Well, I mean not ethnicity, but you talked about you're trying to get those families that is probably the mom, the grandma, and the daughter all living in the same household, or there's two or three different families.
nah. I mean, that was my situation, but if that happens, then that's okay, I guess. But as long as they cover the rent. But yeah, I mean, minorities would be probably more the niche, but it's illegal to discriminate against that, like different
Right, you can't
yeah,
discriminate, but you
yeah.
can't discriminate by race. So, so I'm assuming you're going to stay in Boston. You're going to have your properties in Boston,
Oh yeah, in the area, in Boston
in the
area.
area. So the inner cities in Boston.
Yeah, or yeah, more north. I live more north, like more towards New Hampshire.
Hmm.
Um, so probably in that area in this county.
So are you? I think different. The prices of properties are different depending on the neighborhood. Does that work the same way?
Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, depending on the neighborhood. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
So how are you? Well, I guess you'll have to pick and choose your neighborhoods, right? Because then that'll determine how much you pay as a property owner.
yeah, yeah. Um, and for investment properties, like it just costs a little bit more. If you're gonna like the more property you have, the more you have to, put a down payment towards. Um, but eventually down the line, I want to get into bigger commercial apartment complexes. Those will require, multiple investors to invest into those. Like not it wouldn't just be me, it'd be me and then a group of other people. And then, from there I want to get into developments, and building actual uh properties.
Oh, so you want to be like those big time companies that have all these buildings all over the place.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's you have your eye on the prize. It sounds like.
Yeah. It was this really came about from my dad. He taught me a lot about finances and, how to generate generational wealth. Because it's funny. I tell this story all the time, but like when I turned 16, he asked me. He told me he was like, "You can buy any stock in the stock market that you want. Just think about something that will be relevant in 5 years." And me, I just being 16, I'm like, damn, I wanted a pair of shoes. But I took the opportunity and I picked Tesla, which at the time was $300 a share. Um, and that same Tesla stock, that one share, skyrocketed to about, I think it was at its highest, it was $2,500 a share. So that from that $300 investment, I made $2,500. And then the stock split into five different shares. So I had from that one share, now I have five shares starting at, I think it was at its highest 900. So I had five shares at 900. So you guys can do the math. That's a lot of money. And from my first ever stock purchase ever, that's that was my first ever one. So that kind of sparked my interest into, the stock market, real estate, uh, all these financial ways to make money. Um, yeah, but my dad played a huge role in like how what I know about finances. Like he taught me so much. Christmas, he gifted me Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't know if you've heard that about that book, Gabriella.
It sounds familiar, but
Yeah, that's
my
like it's like one of the most like cliche financial books, but it actually genuinely changed my life and how I view the world and how I perceive finances. Um so I recommend that book a lot. But uh yeah, from reading that, I really started getting into just financial literacy. Um I remember like on my 18th birthday, literally on my 18th birthday, I was like, I told my dad, can you help me sign up for a Roth IRA, which is an investment fund that if you invest money into it over time, it compounds and, you make a lot of money basically. Um, but I hit my chair. But I invested into that. I'm investing into that. I have money in the stock market, good credit, you know, crypto, all at 19 years old. So thanks to my dad, because he taught me a lot about finances.
wow. So you're buying stocks, you're getting a Roth IRA, you're doing all these things all before 19 years old, so you definitely matured quickly.
Nah, yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah.
So now, because you're young, like, did you, what was it like in school with your friends? And, did you, you know, did you find all these aspirations affected your schooling or your education or your social
Um,
life?
yeah, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, maybe actually, yeah. Like in high school, like I would be telling my friends about all these ways they can make money, and like I try my best to like educate these my friends, but a lot of times people are stuck in their ways and they don't see things for what they really are. And you know, I do think that down the line, you know, when we're 30, 40 years old, they're going to be looking back to when I was telling them this in high school, all these things that they could do to make a lot of money, but they were too ignorant to listen. But that's just one aspect. But I do have friends that do listen to me, and they definitely like soak up a lot of the knowledge I give them.
Hmm.
Um, what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
Social life?
Yeah. So right now, I don't really party. I don't like going outside. I'm kind of a workaholic. Like all I really do is sit on this computer and I'm looking at, the stock market. I'm looking at properties. I'm making social media content constantly. Um, I'm always thinking of new ideas. Behind me, I have it blurred, but I have a whiteboard filled with ideas, all my goals written down, like calendar with everything I got planned out for the month. So I'm obsessed with this, but that's just what it is. But as far as education, I graduated high school. Um, I was I played football in high school, and I my dad really wanted me to go to college and play football in college. And you know, I always knew that no matter what I did, I was always gonna, strive just because of my financial, uh, you know, intelligence and just, everything that I knew at such a young age. But, um, you know, I went through the whole process of going to college. I filled out all the financial aid paperwork. I filled out all the applications. I applied to schools. I visited schools.
Hmm.
I eventually picked the school to pursue business. Um, so I picked the school. I went to the orientation. Everything. I did everything, and the day before I was supposed to leave for school, I had all my stuff packed. Everything was packed, and I was supposed to leave the next day. And something came over me, and and I just decided not to go. I was like, this. I don't think this is gonna be the right decision for me. It was like an hour and a half drive away. I was supposed to go with my father, but unfortunately, he had to go see his father in the Dominican Republic because he had a stroke. Um,
Oh.
so I w- so yeah, so I was supposed to go there by myself, drive an hour and a half with all my belongings in my 2009 Toyota Camry, and drive an hour and a half to go play football. When in reality, I didn't really even want to play football. I just, I wanted to make money. So I decided not to go. But I think that's probably the best decision I made. Um, for me personally, you know, I feel like if I would have went to school, I would have been unmotivated and just not in the same headspace that I'm at currently. Um, and I would have been doing stuff that I just didn't enjoy. Football was awesome. I loved football, but in high school, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
So it's so you were heading in one direction, right? And then something just came over you and something just inspired you to go in a completely different direction.
yeah.
And how did your how did your parents react?
My dad initially he was bummed out, but eventually we sat down and we talked, and he saw my vision, and he knew, like, he believed in me. And my mom always supports me no matter what decision I make. She's always there supporting me. But now me and my dad, we're constantly sending each other videos of different ways, like businesses ideas, and we're constantly in the talks we're going to start a business together, and you know we're going to be doing it together essentially.
Oh, what business?
So he has a wireless charger uh product, and then he has a company called True Vice, where and he makes these wooden wireless chargers in his garage, and he ships them out. He has a website, but yeah, I plan on helping him run things on the e-commerce side, with like to put it on Amazon, and to make things more streamlined. Uh, but aside from that, we want to do like some because my dad he has a construction background.
Mm-hmm.
He was a carpenter, or he still kind of is in a way. But so aside from the chargers, we want to do like some real estate renovation, maybe some fix and flips, or just investing into properties together.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like you're definitely hustling, right? So you're looking into your properties and you're helping your dad with his business. So how are you balancing that? Are you planning on doing all that at the same time?
No, for me, I like to, like, when I have a plan, I like to finish. Well, for the most part, I like to do one thing at a time. But
Mm-hmm.
I plan things out in a way where it's like, all right, from 7 to 12, I'm gonna look at properties, and then from 12 to 3, I'm gonna make my content, and then from 4 to 5, I'm gonna help my dad with his, like, kind of like that. But when I have like other goals, like if I see something that comes up and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, I want to do that, I'll put it in the back burner, because I don't want to start another thing when I haven't finished all the other things that I'm already working on, and you know that I want to do.
So so you want to finish one thing before you do get to the next thing.
Basically, yeah, basically.
But then something like real estate, it's that doesn't really sound like something you'll finish
No,
because you
I think
constantly want to get properties.
yeah, I think real estate is kind of a thing where I'm be always doing it, like my whole life. I'm gonna be doing it. Um, but then other business plans and stuff that you know they might be a little bit more like what's the word, like, for a certain amount of time. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think real estate is a thing that I'm always going to be doing.
So right, so it's a constant thing, with real estate. It's once you get into it, it's you tend to stick it out, right?
Right.
So you're gonna stick that out and do the smaller businesses at the same time. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, yeah, essentially, yeah.
Right. And then but with the smaller businesses, you're going to wait till one is done and then start the next one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So now your father's so there is a goal to finish the smaller businesses. So it's because even with smaller businesses, people stick those out. So you it sounds like you don't have an intention to stick out those businesses for long term.
Maybe I think it just all depends. As far as my father's business, like from or just most businesses in general that I want to do, I the end goal is for me to not have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't want to
Of
work, I
course.
don't have to work. So for businesses that I start, I want to outsource most of them and have other people run them, and then I just collect the money basically, and just have them. I just manage it, or I'll have somebody else manage it, and they, I'll just let it run. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I just want to make sure in order you're trying to avoid not working by overworking.
Right now, working a
Right.
lot right now, and then
Mm.
eventually hiring. I plan on hiring a lot, because social media is hard. Social media is a full-time job.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I do want to hire like video editors, cameramen. I want like people to like just post, because even posting, like when you post on YouTube, and you have to come up with a title and then write out the description, and then it's a process. So I'd like to hire somebody to just do that for me, just post.
Hey, listen, outsourcing, it's anything to make your entrepreneurship or your business easier. You definitely want to do that, right? And especially with someone like you who has all these goals, the thing with having so many goals is you have to manage all those goals, right? So then the more things that you end up doing, the more work that you have to do. And so that's where time management comes into play, outsourcing, there's a lot of different factors you have to consider when
For
doing all of
sure.
that. And how are you with balancing? I know we talked about it a bit, but what do you use to balance these things? What do you use for time management?
Well, I have a calendar for my time management. I use a calendar, like it's a physical calendar, like a dry erase board. It's like huge. Um, but aside from that, I have like for my as far like YouTube, I have all my videos. Like I'll record all my videos on Fridays and Saturdays, and then I have them all scheduled out for the week. So it's just already posted, like without me having to worry about it. And then throughout the week, I'm working on the real estate and all the other stuff. So it's not like I'm constantly, on there. Um, but right now, time management hasn't been bad. Everything's been good.
All right. I guess you're I guess it's working out. Maybe you can share some tips. All right. So you have everything on a calendar. You have certain days where you do certain things. So you have things pretty organized, it sounds like.
Right, 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 right.
All
I,
right. All right. Well, listen, let's start to wind things down now. So, do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
words of wisdom. Yes. I say for any entrepreneur, I think the most important thing is just to be patient. Um, because sometimes you'll be working on one thing constantly, 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 and you might not see the results from it right away. But if you are patient, you'll be able to foresee everything else, and stick to the plan. Um, Another thing is consistency. Consistency is very important. Uh, I'll use my YouTube channel for example. Like, you're not gonna grow on YouTube or any other social media platform if you're not consistently posting on there. Consistently, consistently, consistently.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, patience, consistency, and just like overall determination. Uh, you gotta just like think about what you want, and then no matter what happens, you gotta stick to it. You just keep working at it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the advice I'd give.
Beautiful, beautiful advice. All right, Jaetel. Well, thank you so much for this conversation, this lovely conversation. It was very insightful.
Thank
All
you.
right, so let's get to your promo. All right, you guys, it is now promo time. So you can find Jaetel Gomez. He has, you can find him on the web. It is jaetelgomez.popularproperties.com. That is his website. You can also find him on Facebook. He has a Facebook page. It is just his name, Jaetel Gomez. You can also find him on Instagram and YouTube with the handles Jaetel with two L's. So that's Jaetell. You can also find him on Twitter where he has three L's. So it's Jaetell. And he's also on LinkedIn. You can just look up his name, Jaetel Gomez. So I encourage you to find him on social media, seek him out, follow him on all of his accounts. I encourage you to go to his website as well if you are looking. So if you are looking, well, you're not selling properties yet, right?
No, I
Buying or
am.
selling properties.
I am.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. So there you go. So if you're looking to, if you happen to be in the Boston area, Boston, Massachusetts, and you're looking to buy or sell property, reach out to JTEL.
for
The
sure.
information is on your screen right now if you happen to be watching this on video. But if you are listening to this on audio, this information will be in the description. So however you are taking in this information right now, whether you are watching it or whether you are listening to it, the information is in the description or it is on the screen. One way or another, this information is at your fingertips. So I encourage you to take advantage of the information and reach out to JTEL again. So he is all over that social media. Again, he's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And you can go to his website, jtelgomez.popularproperties.com. JTEL, is there anything else you'd like to share about your business, your entrepreneurship? Is there anything else you want to promote?
No, I think you covered everything. I appreciate you so much for having me on.
All right, awesome. All right, so you sent me a video. So I'm going to play that right now.
Hey man, here's 3 money moves you gotta make as soon as you turn 18. Number one, open up a credit card. A credit card will help you build credit. Credit will help you buy big ticket items such as a car or a house later on in the future. Number two, open up a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is an investment fund that compounds interest over time. Let's say you invest $200 every month. By the time you're ready to retire, you'll have over $1 million. And number three, save for emergency fund. Emergency fund will help you if your car breaks down or anything else happens in your life that you need to spend money on. If you do these three things as soon as you turn 18, I guarantee you it's going to set you apart from everybody else. Also, it's going to set you up for a bright future. Appreciate y'all.
All right. All right. Thank you for that lovely message. So tell me why you made that video.
I just feel like majority of people don't have the proper financial literacy, and they don't necessarily know how to build credit. They don't know about retirement funds. They don't know, like, I'm pretty sure it's something like 50% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account, and most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Um, so I think it's really important for people to take financial literacy serious, and to do the research.
Right. And to know how credit works and um especially young people, learn how credit works
Exactly.
and um especially like with colleges, the credit card companies, they're like stalking college kids. So
Yeah.
how does credit work? How does it affect you? How do you build your credit? Things like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. All right. Well, Jaetel, thank you again for joining me, and thank you for coming to Hot
Of course.
Topics, and thank you for your experience and your words of wisdom and sharing it with the world.
Of course. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. I'm place you backstage now, and um, it is just you and me, you guys. All right, so you guys, we have reached the conclusion of yet another episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on this ride. I believe we are at episode, I want to say 163, 164, somewhere around there, somewhere in the upper 160. So we've been at this game for a while. We've been writing hard for over a year. And thank you guys for just joining me for the ride. So whether you are brand new or you've been with us for a while, thank you for joining us on this ride and for sticking it out for this long. So, of course, you guys, I got to remind you that Hot Topics is a production of my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So, if you are looking for a tutor, whether it's for yourself, because we also work with adults, or it is for your child, whether whether your child needs help with homework, whether it's test prep, whether it's college counseling, they need that one-on-one attention, whether they're struggling with time management or the teacher keeps complaining about the child and you keep getting those phone calls, you keep getting those emails, and you just had it up to here and you need a solution. Well, look no further than A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So our tutors will give your child or you that one-on-one attention to help them focus, to get them that direction, to get them to a goal, to improve their scores, raise their self confidence, raise their self esteem. Look no further than us. Our tutors will help you do that. And we will give you that personalized attention to make that happen. So we go in person in our local area, which is New York City, the 5 boroughs of New York City and Long Island, but we also do virtual services as well. So if you just had it up to here with your child struggling, or maybe you're struggling as well, maybe you're in college, or maybe you went back to college or you're starting college or you're taking that civil service exam, and or you're you have to take an exam in order to get a job, if in whatever situation that you're in, look to us. We will help you, and we are that tool for you, right? So I encourage you to reach out to A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. Our information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen. For my video people and for my audio people, I did not forget about you. The information is in the description, but I will just say it here. Go to our website. It is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You can also send us an email, success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You can also call us 347-762-2838. You can also hit us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, WhatsApp, and Eventbrite, because we also host virtual events as well. Hit us up on social media. Just look up A Step Ahead Tutoring Services and reach out to us. Send us a message. I also encourage you to follow us on social media as well. So not only just send us a message, but support us and follow us as well. So please track us down. Follow us on social media. Stay in touch with us and all that we announce and everything that we have to offer. And while you're doing all that, I encourage you to let me know what you thought about this episode. Let your friends know what you thought about this episode. So I encourage you to share this episode since it's about young entrepreneurship. I encourage you to share this episode with at least 2 young people, right? So as soon as this episode is done, or right now, as a matter of fact, I encourage you to share this episode with at least 2 young people under the age of 25. Let's encourage these young people to start businesses and side hustling and, seeking, licenses and reaching for those goals. So let's encourage these kids to pursue these goals, and let's encourage them to, one, have goals. That's number one. And number two, to pursue those goals. So share this video with at least 2 young people under the age of 25. I'm posing that challenge to you right now. And let us know what you thought about this episode while you're doing that. So while you're following us on social media, while you're checking out our website, while you're sharing this video with 2 young people under the age of 25, I encourage you to let us know your feedback. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Drop a comment in the comment section or in the comment thread. If you're listening on audio, drop a star, drop a note, drop something. Drop something. Let us know. Give us that feedback. Let us know your thoughts about this episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, put a comment in the comment section. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Good Pods, drop a rating. Give us a rating. Let us know your thoughts. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, drop a review. Let us know your thoughts. Either way, all of this helps us and all of this supports us and all of that uplifts us. So I encourage you to give your feedback and post your feedback on any account, whether on video or audio, any part of our podcast. I encourage you to drop your feedback and give us that support. So whatever your thoughts, whether positive or negative, just drop a note and help us get our name out there even further. And I'll just make this one last announcement. Hot Topics has a text blast. I encourage you to get on that text blast. So if you want to know about upcoming episodes on Hot Topics, if you want to know when we're going to drop the next audio release or anything and everything that has to do with Hot Topics, I encourage you to get on our text blast. So this is a different phone number, so pay attention. All you have to do is text the code Hot Topics to 917-764-3975. Again, just text the code Hot Topics to 917-764-3975. So get on that text blast today. All right, and that is it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to you joining me on the next episode. Thank you again, you guys, and thank you for, I think it's 164. Thank you for 164 episodes. Thank you, guys. And now, once again, I am signing off. Bye, you guys.